You don't belong. Do you know you were meant for something more? Well, you were. Knowledge of who you are and where you really are from is within your reach. Join Janet Carol Lessin and Dr. Sasha Lessin as they search for the answers as they open up the Stargate to the cosmos.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stargate to the Cosmos. I'm your host, Janet Carol Lessin. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Sasha Alex Lessin, and I'm here with Devara DeFranco as our producer, and you're listening to Revolution Radio Studio B. And let's see, Devara ThunderBeat. Her name was given to her by Native American elders because of her abilities to heal and awaken through the power of sound. She's an international multi-award winner, a musician, composer, author, teacher, speaker, 22 DNA facilitator, certified Reiki master, and a pioneer in sound healing. I have a much longer bio on her on AquarianRadio.com. I invite you to go over there and read it, but she's the author of 3 books, Chakra Journey, Awakening the Chakras, Hand Drumming, Rhythms from Around the World, and her latest book is called Look Up, My Encounters with ETs and Angels, which is a true story with extraterrestrials that she's been in contact with since the age of 4. So we're looking forward to our show with her today. Dr. Lessin, what would you like to say before we bring on Devara?
Well, I'm really interested in what you have to share. I've been studying a lot of the sacred sites and meditations in the sacred sites and things that you get in the different places. And I know that you've gone to these different places and made sounds and communicated with what was there. And so I'm really interested in that. And, of course, we want to hear your ET story.
Welcome to our show.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
We're so happy to have you here. I think I've seen you at different conferences over the years. I probably talked to you, but I've talked to so many people. But right. I remember your, I saw you. I know I've seen you before. You look familiar.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've performed and spoke at many conferences for the last 20 years, I think it's been.
Yes. So, just tell us about yourself, how you got into this path and what it's about. And then, of course, we want to get into your ET contact. But just start your story where you want to begin.
Well, let's see. My first contact was at 4 years old, and I was playing in the driveway, broad daylight in upstate New York, and a cloud ship, I call it, came over. It was a ship cloaked in a cloud, and it pulled me up. And as it was pulling me up, my mother ran out of the house trying to catch me, and they brought her up too. So that's where my ET story begins. And it took me many years to figure out what happened. I remember just some things, and then I had because I had lots of missing time, I guess, at that, actually throughout my whole life. But I had a session with Dolores Cannon, which a lot of people know who she is, and of course, and that's when all the truth and all the what really came through. And it was my star family reminding me of my mission.
Did your mother remember this, and did you get to talk to her about it?
Yes, she said she didn't remember at that time. She actually, when they brought her up, and when they brought me back, she ran out of the house and she said, "I've been looking for you for hours. I was ready to call the police. Where have you been?" I said, "I've been playing here in the driveway, Mom." And then it was probably about 20 years later, she remembered, and they started coming to her too, at the same time when they were coming to me, throughout our whole life.
What did she remember?
Well, she doesn't remember that, as far as that first situation, but she remembers the beings coming to her in her house, and she says, "They're here." She would call me every once in a while. She goes, "They're here. The ETs are here." I said, "Yes, I know, Mom." And she was very nervous about it, so they didn't really, I don't think, communicated too much with her, but they kept downloading me information that comes through when I guess it's supposed to come through.
Is there any connection between your contact with the ETs and your path with music and sound?
Absolutely. The Star family is Sirius. And when they brought me, I remember the first time they brought me in the ship when I saw the vision and saw everything in detail, every room, they had arched doorways in all these rooms, and they were all lit up a different color. And they said they worked with frequency, light, and sound. They said that colors are sound. That's what they told me. And then they put me in a room and shined golden light onto me and called me a name. And they said, your name is Flying Eagle with many wings. Now I'm half a native, and I said, well, that sounds Native American. So I asked my family, my Native American side, and they said, well, where do you think we get our names from? We get them from the Star people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which tribe are you?
Choctaw this lifetime.
This lifetime. So tell us the sequence of, was that the only contact, or did you have ongoing contact? Tell us what was going on. Were you with other species or just the Syrians?
Who was there? What did they look like?
What were they doing with you? Yeah.
Right. They, they've been contacting me, and actually different races contacted me also. I had contact with the Andromedans. The Syrians, let me tell you what they look like. There's many different species. They brought me actually to Sirius A, which is the sun. You wouldn't think that you can go into the sun, but we didn't burn up. But they live inside Sirius A. And the beings, they brought me there in a ship, and I went through the wormhole or whatever, Stargate, whatever you want to call it. And then they brought me into a different ship to go into the sun. And there was a being that looked like a triangle-headed being. He was purple, and he was bouncing around me. And I said, what is he doing? And he said, they're making sure you don't have any immoral implants before you go into the sun. Immoral implants is what they said. So they checked for that, and then they brought me into this other ship, and as I was going in, it seemed really quick to where we went, and there was these, like, I don't even know how many, about 50, 60 beings that were on this, like, walkway looking into the ship, and they were pink. They kind of looked like the Greys, but they were pink, and they were a little bit different. I have pictures of them, actually, drawings, I should say. And what do you call it? They were looking at me and, wondering. And I said, who are they? They said, they're your people that that they know you and they haven't seen you for a while. They're very excited about seeing you. And I'm like, okay. And then they brought me to the command room. And they said, there was other beings there. There was a bird being, and he said he was my left rank commander, and he had white feathers for hair, and his eyes were golden triangles pointing down, but everything else looked human about him. But the energy there on Sirius A was just beautiful, like love and light, and there was no fear, no anxiety, no stress, none of that even existed. And I made them laugh because I said, oh my God, I can breathe here. And they all started laughing. And it was because, they don't have any of the fear there. And then they introduced me to, I'm trying to think, there was they introduced me to they brought me in a different room, and I almost like a different frequency room, and introduced me to these, they call them the golden ones. And they were all pure gold, and it looked like they had clothes on, but it was all one piece, like to their body. It was hard to explain, but I have a friend of mine that's helping me with drawings from Australia that has nailed it. And they're all in my book, actually. All those pictures are in color in my ebook, which is wonderful. And then, so then they showed me things that were going on in the earth. And they said that, they showed me this picture of how they see the earth, or it's not a picture, like on a screen. And they said that this is how we see the earth, and it was all full of brown smoke, like pollution.
Oh, wow.
And then they said, well, if we didn't clean the planet up with our light frequencies and colors of light, which they do, they bring these certain colors of light in, like when you look, if you ever looked at the sky and see like certain colors and go, what is that, and that's them doing healing on the planet. And they use the colors of rays and everyone, they were explaining to me, not everyone, but they were explaining to me, we're bringing the gold and the green in now for healing and raising the frequency and purification. They said gold is purification. And they said otherwise, if we didn't do this, they showed me on the screen, they said it would look like a black piece of charcoal. It would be a dead planet. So they've been helping us a lot.
Wow. So they've been doing this for like recent times or since the beginning of humanity? What did they tell you about this cleanup effort?
They said they've been doing it for eons, is what they said. That was the word they used, for eons. They've been cleaning up the planet for eons.
Are most species messy like we are? Or are we unique that we come in and, we kind of shit in our own backyard, so to speak?
Yeah. No, they're very clean. Everything was very clean and purified, and trying to think, there's other beings I met, and then I met Andromedans. They said they're from Andromeda, and I remember them just really looking human. One almost looked like actually there was praying mantis on that ship. There was a praying mantis, and he did a healing on me. He was a doctor. He was blue, but the best way you could describe him is he was probably about 15 feet tall, 12 to 15 feet tall, and I used to smoke cigarettes, and he did a healing on my lungs. So when I went to the doctor, after that, they said, you have no problem with your lungs, because I was coughing and all this, and then I stopped smoking, and so that was wonderful. And then there was another being that kind of looked like an ant being, but he was human, but ants.
Did the mantoid have hands like humans, or a different kind of a hand?
Good question. He had 5 fingers and a thumb that was as long as his fingers. Both hands. They had real fingers, real hands. But, 5 fingers and a thumb. And
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So your mantis was what color? Blue, or what did you say?
He was blue, and he had the big eyes, and he did this healing. He put his hand into my belly, like his whole hand into my stomach, and then he went up and did something. But that was pretty trippy.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a healing by a mantis, a female, but she was more like natural tones, like
brown.
Yeah, like in the browns and beiges. Yeah, mine was blue, but that's interesting. They come in different colors.
Mhm. Yeah, he was blue. He was like a blue, like a medium blue, not dark. It wasn't real. Well, I don't know, like kind of like the India blue, from India. Kind of like that.
So, have you seen him more than once, or?
No, I just remember him once. And trying to think, I've met other beings. Oh my, Arcturians. The Arcturians I've met, they were like a white, kind of like how do you describe it? Almost see-through white, but not see-through. It was like not a solid white. It was. I'm trying to think something on Earth that would kind of look like that. I don't know, but they had the pointed ears and the big heads, and when they came in, they said, whatever you need help on, just ask.
So why have these people educated you and chosen you, and what did they want you to do?
There's a lot of people that say, why they chose you. They reminded me of my mission. They said, I chose the mission, that I volunteered to come down to help. And the Syrians work with color, light, and sound. And I became a musician when I started playing, I think, at 11 years old, playing music, different instruments, and then I ended up being, my main instrument being full drum set, and played with rock bands for 20 years. And then what happened was I was just tired of all the egos, and there was a lot of arguing, I guess, in the bands. And I said, I don't like this anymore. This is not fun anymore. And Spirit came in, this voice, always get this thundery voice comes in, and he told me, as a male voice, and he goes, go solo. And I said, what? I said, what? Go solo? How does a drummer go solo? I said.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, and he goes, go solo now. And I'm like, okay, how do I do this? I took engineering recording classes and courses, and I said, okay, I'm going to buy a recording studio and buy a keyboard, and I'm going to start writing. And as soon as I got it, I instantly started writing this whole different kind of music I've never heard before. And it came through me, and it was easier than I thought. So that is, and it's all activational and all healing music. And I think they were just preparing me, or I was preparing myself for that mission. It's definitely working with color, light, and sound.
Do you have a sample of your drumming that we can hear?
Absolutely. I have SiriusStargate.com. It's at SiriusStargate.com. You can listen to all my CDs. I think I have about 14 or 15 of them, and each one of them is totally different from each other. If you want to hear my tribal drumming, listen to Mayan Landing. I go to sacred sites, and I come home and I start writing a CD, and it just comes right through me. It's just all this natural. And that, I'm sure you remember Jose Aguirrez.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember Jose.
Yeah, well, me and Jose were very good friends, and when he heard that Mayan CD, he was, oh my God, that is the truth. And then he started inviting me to his conferences to perform his Day Out of Time conferences in Ashland, Oregon at the time, before he passed. And I brought him here to Sedona for a conference, and we just totally connected. So that was the Mayan CD. Then I have an Egyptian CD that I came home from Egypt and started writing that one. And that one has won 4 or 5, I forget, major awards. And that's out internationally. They're all out internationally. And here's the fascinating was the Chakra Journey CD I wrote. I was overnight in the Great Pyramid in Egypt. And I think it was Archangel Gabriel came to me, and he told me color, light, sound. 7 is the sacred number. 7 is the sacred number. Color, light, sound. And he kept repeating this over and over again. And this is 1997, and I said, oh, he's talking about the chakras, and he's talking about there's an activational tone for each chakra.
Yes.
And now, right, but back in the 1997, that wasn't happening, So I came home, and I was so excited about the information, and I started recording, and he pretty much helped me with the tones for each chakra, and then I recorded the root chakra, and then I went to the sacral chakra, and he said, not yet, not time. And I'm like, what? And none of my things in my recording studio worked. I mean, he literally stopped me. And this went, long story short, this went on for 4 years. He kept stopping me every time I tried to record that CD. And I recorded other CDs in the meantime, and everything was fine. So then, after 4 years, what happened was he comes in, he goes, 9/11 happened, the Twin Towers fall, right? It was the day after that. He comes in, he goes, okay, it's time now.
Wow.
Yeah, that seemed to be an important time. Was that day that happened, the Twin Towers? I have a lot of people who had messages around 9/11.
Yeah.
Like I was in like a coma for like 2 days before it, and then a friend of mine, and she was instructed to get up and write a song. She woke up out of the coma and she said, "I've got to go write this song." So yeah.
I knew immediately it was a setup. Immediately I got the whole picture.
So what was it about? So 9/11 for you? What did that mean for you that you had to write this song?
Well, I didn't have any TV at the time. I took out of the system. I didn't want to watch all the doom and gloom stuff anyway, but my friend said, come over, you got to see the Twin Towers fall. And then everyone was crying over there, and I looked and I watched it on TV, and the first words out of my mouth was New World Order.
Wow.
And then Gabriel came in the next day, and I we finished. I'm going to say because he's helped me with it. We finished the CD, and then after that, it was just boom! It became #1 across the country. Helped so many people, healing their fears, anxiety, pain. Help them wake up to see what's going on. I mean, it just. Thank you, Gabriel.
Wow.
Wow.
And Gabriel, let me tell you this, a lot of people don't realize, Gabriel, of Archangel Gabriel as a messenger, yes, but he is a musician. He's a musician. Come play your horn, Gabriel. Come blow your horn, right? He's a horn player.
I wonder if you played some of your music, if we could pick it up for the recording. Do you want to try that? Just a sample?
Yeah.
How are we going to do that? Let's see.
I was looking at your site. I was wanting to hit the button, but I don't know what's recorded, what we play music. You can just do a sample. We don't have to do the whole thing.
Oh, okay. They're telling me to play Cosmic Awakening. That is music channeled in from different star systems.
Perfect.
I think that would be appropriate for this show.
Which one is it?
Can you play it on your end?
No, I don't have it hooked up here.
Okay, I'm just on your site. I was just wondering.
There's 4 of them here.
There's Galactic Voyage. I don't know how to play your music on your site. Sorry.
SiriusStargate.com. Did you go to that one?
Yeah, I just go to music and.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just click on the CD and then it'll play, or you just press play.
Play that one.
Which one?
Chakra.
I have Ascension, Chakra Journey, DNA Activation. Or is that
Cosmic Awakening?
I don't see Cosmic. Wait. Try the other place. Okay, here we go.
Oh, here they are. A bunch of came in. There it is. Just Cosmic Awakening right there.
Cosmic Awakening. Okay, this is a test. We don't know if it's going to work. Here we go. Okay.
Just.
Come on.
Okay, keep playing it. Keep playing it.
I hear it.
You hear something?
Yes, you unplug that thing and you can hear it.
Oh, here. Did you hear it?
Maybe you can play something a little louder. That's a pretty mellow. Let's see. You can play the Mayan or the Mayan landing CD.
Okay. I'll try the Mayan. Let me go back.
Yeah, that's a little louder.
Okay, the Mayan.
Mayan landing.
Here we go.
It's how hot it was recorded or something, yeah.
This is a test. Hold on. It takes.
You messing with my site.
You guys get that?
Is it not working?
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know if you can hear it.
I can't.
I don't think you can hear it. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Something about Skype. It doesn't pick it up, I guess, unless you put it in the Skype itself or something. I don't know how it works. Anyway, we'll figure it out for some future recording, but let's go back to your story.
I listened to actually when the music that you use for your show. You would love The Mind's Eye. It's like my progressive rock band, and the lyrics are about now. About the song is called Human Embrace, and it's about the what's going on really now. And the lyrics are incredible. It talks about, this world and how we made it as it's with greed, power, greed, and, just if you get a chance, listen to it. I think you'll like it.
Oh, we will. I like all what I've listened to already. I guess if you had I think an MP3 and you put it in the chat, Deborah might be able to play it, the producer, but anyway, we should have figured that out, but we didn't.
But particularly that one with the lyrics you just said. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know how to get it to play through Skype. Don't know how to do that. Okay, so let's go back. So you were telling us your story. So you had this first encounter. What else happened?
Well, that was more than my first encounter. That was when they brought me to Sirius. That was later on in life, and the Dromedans, came to me, and I still have missing time. But they downloaded me some information. What happened with the Andromedan? They picked me up, and it's a kind of a funny story because I was in Sarasota, Florida, on the beach with my dog at 1:00 in the morning. They wouldn't allow dogs at the beach, and she was a Labrador. They love water, so I'd bring her sneaker down to the beach, and at 1:00 and stay till sunrise. So the third time I was there, I was taken up into the ship, and the next thing I remember, it was like 30 minutes later, it seemed like, and it was sunrise, and I couldn't find my dog, and I'm like, my dog is always by me, and I'm like, what happened? So I had the regression with Dolores Cannon on that one too, and she said that it was basically, she asked, well, who is it? I said, the Andromedans. It was instant, and they recognized who I am, and I don't know exactly the information they gave me, but the military came in. We were in the ship watching the military on the ground, and they were looking for us, and they guessed we were cloaked, and they were going Sheba about my dog. They were trying to get my dog away from the military so the military wouldn't steal her or take her. And she was all the way down like 3 miles at the end of the beach, like really far, when I was trying to find her when I came back. And I'm like, oh my God. And she was so happy to see me, happier than she normally is. I wanted to find out more information, but what happened after that, I remember, let's say I was talking to a friend outside, and this other person would come up, we don't know, and all of a sudden I would download and give them all this information, and I understood it at the time. It was very intelligent, like astrophysics. It was the molecular structure of blah, 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 blah. And I was like, understood it while I was telling this person this information. And then he nods and goes away, and it was like normal. It seemed like normal. And then all of a sudden I forgot everything I just said. And that happened to me 3 times after meeting the Andromedans. So I'm not sure exactly. I guess I'm relaying messages. I don't know. But I can probably, have another session. I have a lot of missing time, so.
Well, what I've learned with working with other experiences, some of them they get a download from the ET, and then you go to the person that can understand it and you just deliver the message, but you don't necessarily understand everything that you're reporting. So, but over time, the more you get the information, the more you start, it like increases your intelligence. So eventually you'll start understanding it, but it's a little bit of a delay because it's over your heads originally.
Right.
Very interesting how that happens.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. But as I remember as saying it to him, I understood everything and I felt so intelligent, like, more so. And it was really cool information. But then as soon as I finished and he nodded to me, it was gone. The information I told him that I remembered, it was gone. So
did he understand it?
And did the military start picking on you because of your contacts?
Very good question. Yes. Yeah, they started coming into my house when I wasn't there, going into everything. They wanted to know what was going on. I felt like they knew more than I did, and because a lot of it I didn't remember till later, till I had the regressions. And yep, absolutely. They're following me around.
So when you had the military, did they take you underground or to any of their bases that you're aware of?
No, not that I know of.
Yeah. Have you worked with anybody else besides Dolores Cannon?
Yes, some of her students now, since she's passed.
Yeah, I was aware she died.
Yeah, she died on my birthday. We knew each other for 12 years before I even had a session with her. I think it was something like that. And we, at the conferences, and I was just always admired her, but she never talked about ETs to this one conference after she came out with her book, Beyond Abduction. And I said, oh my God, now I know I need to get a session with her.
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
I got to see her the last time she was at the UFO Congress. Then she died, I think, that year.
Yes, and I was there. I was there at that conference.
Yeah, that's where I might have seen you, or one of the other ones, yeah. So I never got to work with her. So what was her technique? Did she hypnotize you, or?
No, regression, take you, what I asked her for, I gave her questions, and then she would take me into the other realm and regression, kind of. Hypnosis.
So, how many hypnosis sessions have you undergone?
4.
So, can you tell us about them?
Yeah, I actually did. I told you the information that came through, what I remember, and actually they're all in my book. Every single one of them is in my book. Look up my encounters with ETs and angels. Very detailed. I have, some new information. After that is, wow, so much.
What stands out?
What is it?
Main things that you learned from ET.
The new information. What is the cool new information that stands out?
Well, they basically keep reminding me, if you want things for everybody, this goes for everybody. If you want things to happen, you have to ask. It's a free will zone. They're not like the dark side that would just come in and bulldoze everything. They said they're here right now, watching the planet, and if you just ask, you gotta ask for help and be specific if you can, so they know what to do. Otherwise they cannot interfere.
But if you ask, they can.
Yes.
Okay, so how would we ask them? What would we ask? Can we say, come in and save the planet from all this pollution, or do we have to be like, come in and clean up Fukushima or something? And how do we ask?
It's almost like prayer, okay, it's going to sound funny because I haven't told anybody this, but the last thing I asked for just recently was, I said, can you combobulate Dr. Fauci, so he can't speak correctly? Or he doesn't speak correctly anyway, but I mean, and 3 days later, he was stuttering on this show, and I saw him. And I'm trying to, I asked him to slow these people, the dark side down. He's very dark, and Bill Gates, his agenda, if people don't know, he wants to depopularize the planet, So I asked, to slow them down or stop them,
Okay, so you're seeing this as the polarity, and there's a dark and a light side, and so you're asking them to slow down the dark side.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So do they pick sides? Is there extraterrestrial? Do they see the humans as dark and light like we see them, or do they see us all as dark?
No, they look at it. They don't. If someone's going to be killing mass murder, that is they don't agree with that at all. That and destroying the planet. And for instance, they work on. You've heard I wrote it in 2013, and they just started talking about it in 2016 about the nuclear missiles, that they deactivate. There's more than one group that does that. The Syrians do that, and I think the Dromedans do that. That's the Army's very upset with them. They're thinking they're going to have this war, and they're deprogramming them, their weapons, and it's not true. That's not the reason. The reason is if we blow up this planet, it will cause a ripple effect throughout the solar system and into the galaxy. So, and it will affect, millions or billions of species, and it just not good. So, the dark, is going overboard, is slowing them down of their agenda. And, there's demonic forces involved, which they don't agree with. No, they do not. Some of the reptilian Dracos, these demonic forces use them. They use the reptilians because they're big and strong, and inject them with AI, artificial intelligence, so they can control the royals and the draconians. Okay? And this is new information kind of in the last 3 or 4 years that I've received and helped the reptilians. They wanted a love activation. I know where they are here in Sedona. They have a draconian palace here. And they said, we want a heart activation. And I did. And I brought my friend. I have a witness. I did 14 draconians. They were 15, 20 feet tall, huge. And I was not in fear. And I didn't realize at that moment that they have 2 hearts. They have near their underarms. And as I was doing the activation on each one separately, I know this sounds crazy, but it's this true, swear to God story, that when I was doing the activation on them, I'm thinking their heart was in the middle, and then my hand started doing this triangle thing, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to argue with it or stop it. And after I did 14 or 15 draconians, and 3 days later, I find out they had 2 hearts, and I said, oh my God, that's why I did it that way. That's why that happened. Because I didn't realize it till 3 days later. I found out, like I saw on a cosmic disclosure, one of their pictures, and they had 2 hearts. And I went, really? Okay. It makes sense. But
have you ever encountered any good Dracos, Draconians?
These are neither. You've never said these are good nor bad.
Are these good or bad?
They're saying they're good. That they were tired of being manipulated by the dark forces, the demonic forces. And these beings have like red eyes, okay, and they're dark, and they use the AI. They're satanic, you know. They do all the pedophile stuff, and adrenochrome.
Human babies and like I've heard all this stuff with they're, and I've heard different stories because I've worked with the super soldiers, and there's all these variations on the theme.
Right.
Some of them, they eat them. Some of them, they devour the energy. It's all pretty dark. But
Yeah.
So you're talking about these beings. So let's just kind of get what are they actually doing with? Are they taking babies? Are they taking children?
Yeah.
Are they using them as slaves? Are they using them for sex?
No. They wanted a heart activation so they can go to the light. So they can go to the light because they were done. They're tired. They're tired. They're being used, and they don't want that agenda anymore. So,
okay, so even the dark can turn to the light.
Absolutely.
So the dark can become conscious and say, I don't want to be involved in negative activities anymore. I don't want to harm.
Right. They can go to the light within them.
Exactly.
So you were helping them wake up and become activated and conscious and move into no longer harming anybody.
Yeah, they asked me. They were ready. So I didn't, I don't force anybody to do unwillingly. So they came to me and asked me. So, and I said, really? First of all, I was shocked, of course, but I wasn't in fear.
Uh-huh.
And I brought my friend. He's a galactic warrior. And I said, you're coming with me. Let's go. We went out in the land where I know where their Hellas was or is, and it's the whole thing's done in a whole different etheric realm. Okay, it's not all physical, but you see, me and my partner could see them physically. There was males, there was females, and they told me the females are really the ones in charge.
That's definitely true. I've heard that from a super soldier. He said that this is a matriarch, not a patriarch, and the women are in charge. Very interesting. So there's some of them. What I find is everybody's complicated. There's no real pure dark or pure light. That everybody has the light within them, and it's like a continuum. And so, if you're a light being, then you might pull more light and higher consciousness out of them. If you're a dark being, they might come and be darker. So it has something to do with who we are in our relationship with them, that we start pulling everything into light and kindness and goodness and love and higher, intentions. That's what I'm finding. There's something
I do.
best.
Well, to give you this information, I'm trained by a major shaman that trained me how to release demons from people, and I'll say 10%, maybe 10-15% of the time when I'm releasing the dark entities out of a person, about 10% will say, thank you. I didn't know how to go to the light, because I send them to the light. All of them. I don't put them back into the earth like some people do. And so about 10% say thank you to me. It's interesting.
Yeah. And we've done, what do you call them? Exorcisms in therapy with clients.
That's kind of like what I'm talking about, but I just call it release. Yeah.
Peace exorcism. Tell them about what you've done with, trained with Bill Baldwin.
But there's another category which is really worth noting, that any human need that's unrecognized and undealt with becomes demonic and overpowers the personality, and that's exactly where if a person has a weakness like that, that's what comes in from the outside. And so it's also, as you talk to the demonic that has possessed a person, you also activate a part of the person that has not been
whose needs haven't been met, and that part can express its needs, and that can be integrated into the personality. So if there's demonic outside, if there's demons outside, that means you have, in psychology anyway, some demonic, some part of you that you're not recognizing and meeting its needs in a coordinated way.
That makes perfect sense. Absolutely. With me, they've never, attached to me. I've had poltergeist, which I didn't know I was having poltergeist till this. Anyway, I was wondering what was going on. I was having knocks on the windows and walking around my house. Phones were ringing through. Demonic voices coming through the TV. And so obviously they didn't attach to me, but that was poltergeist, and I didn't realize I was having it. I said, what the hell is going on? And I kept asking so many people. This is like 25 years ago, and before I knew anything about, demonic release and all that. And it was, he said, I asked him his name. I did. I'm not going to say it, but, I tried to find out, who this demon or this person was, and the only person that knew was the Roman Catholic Church. They said, oh yeah, we know all the demons and names and all the angel names. And that one, I told them the name, and they said, that's the right-hand man of Satan. And,
wow.
Yeah, so what happened was, a person in the music industry was very jealous of me and put 50 hexes on me, and that's why I was having poltergeists.
Oh wow!
Oh, so in the Baldwin method, what we do is we talk, first we say we talk to the demonic force, and we say, what did they tell you would happen if you left this person? I disappear. No, you can't disappear. You two look inside. They lied to you about this light inside you too. So they lied to you. Now, so what was your mission with her? And okay, before we send you to your appointed place in the light, we like you to gather in it. We ask the Archangel Michael and the warriors of light to surround your whole network and your bosses and your confederates and this person and her relatives and her whole network, and send them all to their place in the light. And you can actually hear this whoosh, and everything changes, and the person is relieved.
Right. Exactly.
So you mentioned, a lot of people talk about Satan, but, there's a huge debate in the UFO metaphysical community about who is Satan. Some people say it's an Anunnaki, it's Marduk. Some people say it's a Draco. Some people say, he wanted. In your mind, who is Satan? What is Satan?
I really don't know. I mean, it's a being. It's definitely not a reptilian. As far as I know, they come from Saturn. Satan. That's where the name Satan comes, Saturn. But I didn't ask him. I just found out that, how when he was telling me you must die now, I told him I love you, and it shut him up for about 15 minutes when they came back. So the love word does work.
So you told him you loved him,
Yes.
But he was telling you you had to die.
That's right. Exactly. I was not.
Did that shock him when you said you love him?
Yeah, he got real quiet. He got really quiet. And then he started coming back, like gurgling through the TV, kind of like growling, gurgling. And then, he started saying, you must die now. And I finally said, what is your name? Cause I wasn't in fear. And he told me his name, and I wrote it down, and then I told him, I love you, and I mean it. And it shut him up.
That's fun. So, have you done any other releases like that? So you got rid of. So what happened after that?
Well, I finally met a shaman that knew how to release them. I didn't know how to do any of that work at that time, and now I do since I've studied under another shaman that is amazing. He's like probably about 89 years old now, and he wrote a book called Adversaries Among Us. That's the name of his book, and he's trained me. The other one used the other shaman that got rid of the demons, because there was more than one, he said, that was attacking me. He said that he used a black box, which is they're illegal, I guess, to have, but not. When I found out the black box is this frequency generator that zaps them, I guess, it takes out implants also, and they're illegal in the United States, but they're not illegal in Canada.
Never heard of it. It's a black box. It's not the EVP where the ghosts come through. It's something else.
I'm not sure. I tried to find them online, and they used to be online, but now, and I can't find them now. So I don't know. But something to do with frequencies, definitely.
What are you saying?
It could be Reich's orgone box.
Is it Reich's orgone?
No, it's not like orgone.
Orgone, yeah. No, it's something else. Okay.
It's a frequency sound. It's a bzzz, like rife. Like a rife machine. Like
rife machine. Okay.
Yeah, more like that.
Wow.
Interesting. Okay, we're coming up at the top of the first hour. So now are you doing that on a regular basis? Do you find, are a lot of people possessed, or places, houses, or areas possessed?
Yes, both. I was doing them for many years, and I actually don't even advertise them anymore, because what was happening in the last 3 clients, they were, taking, what is that called, meth, smoking the meth thing or whatever.
Yes.
And, you have to be, they were attaching to them because they were taking drugs, and they'd attach to people that take drugs, alcohol, and even prescriptions, okay? And they wouldn't clean themselves up. I could release the demons, but their new demons are going to come back. So, because they're not doing the work, and they have holes in their aura. So, and they would be flipping out, when they call, they would be fine for 3 days, and then a new demon would come back because they're smoking crack or whatever it is. And they would call me and screaming on my phone, help me. And I'm like, this, I don't need this. I don't want this anymore, So I stopped doing them. I mean, once in a while, if a person's not doing drugs and they're really being like a galactic warrior, I call them, coming in, I will do them, which I'll do. And I have encountered them, when I do my 22 DNA activations, which is, I love. It's definitely part of my work, why I'm supposed to be here. And there's sometimes the galactic warriors come in. I get a lot of them, for the DNA, and I see they've been attacked, and so I do a clearing on them, and then I do the activation. So that works out fine. Yeah.
Yeah, people don't understand that when they take certain elements, they're opening themselves up to possession and the dark side of the force. Absolutely. I wonder what more we can do to educate people. They think they're just doing drugs, but the drugs you use, they can, you can take an entheogen and you'll go to the light side, but like crystal meth apparently pulls you into the dark side, and heroin and things like that. What are you going to say about that, honey?
Well, there's a number of things, but one of the most interesting ones is when they feel the impulse to use, to be able to talk to the part of themselves that was activated and say, what was going on just before I had that impulse? What is it that I need to deal with? I'll drink some water while I think about that. In other words, if you can interrupt the desperate panic, it can be a doorway to if the person, and you really need to commit. One of my teachers would basically say, don't smoke cigarettes for 6 months and then come back to me. I'm not going to see you until you show you really mean it by your behavior.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Are we going to break here?
We are in just 1 minute. Oh, I wanted to know what you want to focus on in the second half. We've got more of your music. You have the 22 DNA activation. What else would you like to discuss about in the second half of the show?
We could talk about the 22, and if I could find to get some music up, I think that would be wonderful.
Okay. I would also like to know about the wisdom of the Native American elders, especially the women.
And then Deborah will be back and ask you if you have any questions after the break.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, so make sure you have those ready. And so we have a lot more coming up in the second half of the show. We're with Devara ThunderBeat and Janikira Lessin, Dr. Sasha, Alex Lessin, and Deborah DeFranco's the producer. And we're going to talk about more music, more extraterrestrial contact, and all those good things. There's the music. Okay. You have 4 minutes.
Radio at freedomslips.com. We'll be right back after this message.
Many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
The future is uncertain. I know this. Death is inevitable. I know this. But one thing is certain. As free men, it is our right to live unencumbered and in peace. And those times are quickly drawing to an end. And in these times, peace is certainly an illusion. And as the chains grow tighter, our ability to slip those chains increase incrementally with every passing moment. Inaction is no longer an option. It's time to raise our voices like a cacophony of thunder and lightning and tell the masters no more. And this is Nighthawk, and I say, for myself, no more. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, because the freedom is slipping away.
Hello, my name is Mr. Rowe. I am the host of Reality Extraction, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I utilize logic, intellect, and magic to methodically atomize, vivisect, analyze, examine, study, scrutinize, and extract an essence of reality from a fog of illusion and confusion. You can find me on Studio B every Thursday, 1700 hours Pacific Time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. No topic taboo, no subject too strange. I strive to take a neutral standpoint during the dissection of the topic at hand. That's Reality Extraction with Mr. Rowe on Revolution Radio.
anarcho-syndicalist commune. We take it in turns to act as a sort of executive officer for the week. Yes. But all the decisions of that officer have to be ratified at a special bi-weekly meeting. Yes, I see. By a simple majority in the case of purely internal affairs. Be quiet. But by a 2/3 majority in the case of more... Be quiet. I order you to be quiet. Look, you stupid bastard, you've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look, it's just a flesh wound.
I don't believe I've seen such a display of courage, skill, nerve, grace, and stupidity.
I'll do you for that. You what? Come here. What are you going to do, bleed on me? I'm invincible. You're a loony. The Black Knight always triumphs.
Roundtable Live, Monday through Friday, 1 a.m. till 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Bring your mind, bring your ideas, bring your voice. King Arthur had nothing on us here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com.
Feel that things were not quite right, that everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
download it to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here. All right. Thanks for listening while we take that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And yeah, we're going to get back to your host.
Aloha, everybody, and welcome back to Stargate to the Cosmos. And I'm your host, Janet Lessin, and I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Sasha. Alex Lessin, our producer, is Devara DeFranco, and you're listening to Revolution Radio Studio B. And Devara ThunderBeat is our guest today. But before we get back to her, I'd like to remind everybody to please go over to revolution.radio, and the top left tab, you can make your one-time donation, and the Patreon button in the middle, you can make your recurring donation. And we do thank you very much for making your donation to Revolution Radio, because your donations help us keep on the radio and bring you shows like ours. Okay, Sash.
Well, this is really exciting. We're going to, hopefully this section, get to hear some music.
Yes.
Devara.
Yeah. And also, Devara DeFranco, what questions do you have for our guest?
Okay, so I have one question. You mentioned about one of your UFO experiences, about asking if you had any immoral implants in your body. What did you mean by that?
They wouldn't allow any negative implants to reside in my body to go into Sirius A. They don't allow that programming.
What would constitute a negative implant?
Negative agenda, I guess, you know. And,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Dolores Cannon, and I've been studying about past life regressions for over 30 years based on some books I stumbled upon when I was very young. Now, you said you knew her for 12 years before you finally did a session. So what triggered your desire to do a session with her?
Was when she came out with that book, Beyond Abduction, because before she never talked about ETs when I knew her. She had books, like beautiful books,
right.
Most of them, you know, with the past years of Jesus and...
or if you didn't have any conscious memories of this.
Of what? Of
the abductions.
Yeah, I did. I just didn't know the full story. So I didn't know who to go to, and I was trying to figure it out for many years after that first one, when I was 4 years old. And I remember coming back from the ship, and I remember I was tumbling in the air in slow motion, and I was going to hit the driveway where they picked me up on, and I was going to hit my head, and I said, oh my God, I'm going to hurt myself if I hit my head. I need to land on my hands. And all of a sudden I flipped around so fast and I landed on my hands, and my cat was there, and my cat jumped about 10 feet off the ground. And I said, okay, what was that? And I don't remember any, and I asked so many people, and they said, oh, you had an spiritual experience. And I got a big no on that. I said, is it ETs? I don't know. And this was like, God, the 60s, you know, and I didn't know who to talk to or ask. And I asked a lot of people, and finally it was not till then that it triggered. I said, that's what I need to do, you know, to find out. And now, session with her.
When you did the sessions with her, did you get into any past lives, or were you just dealing with the UFO experiences?
Just UFO experiences. That's what I asked her.
Okay.
I asked her, I need to know these two different situations when I was 4, and another situation at a UFO conference in Gulf Breeze. I got picked up when I was there, and this is all like in 2002, 3, 4, during that time.
Now, what do you think is the end game for the ETs and the abduction experiences? We've had a lot of different experiencers on the program, and Janet's one, and everybody's got different stories and different experiences. So I'm curious if you have a theory on what the end game is.
Is there an end?
Well, I don't know. Like, what is the reason for it, right? Like, so many of the experiencers have screen memories and don't remember really what happened. So is that because it's so traumatic they don't want you to remember, or they don't want you to tell publicly what it was that happened to you? What are they driving towards, I guess? Maybe there's not an end game, but what are they driving towards?
Basically, the beings I've met is, like I said, the Sirius Star family. They said that's where I reside, and they were reminding me of my mission and to help the planet. Like, I volunteered to come here to help raise the frequency of the planet, and more, of course, some more things like the activations to help people wake up. And they've been helping. Syrians been helping the planet, like they even said, like even during the Atlantean times, and Andromeda, they say the same thing. They're here to help. We're to help, you know, making sure you don't blow you guys up, you know, yourself up, and you know, that's one of the major missions. But like I said, they won't interfere unless, you know, like they said that I was a volunteer. So, you know, each one has, you know, I guess a different purpose or agenda, and they work together. I've met the Ashtar Command, and there is so many different species on that ship, like from all over. So they're like the Galactic Federation, part of that. I mean, it's like the when you watch Star Trek, you know, the bar, you know, they have different species, and they had the most different species I've ever seen, and they're here to help. They're here to help, you know.
If they're here to help, why not make themselves known? Why are we going through all this trauma and chaos if they could help us find a better way?
Right. They said that we have to ask, and we have to be awake enough to ask. And I don't know why, on my memory, sometimes they're there, and I know they're there, and they're in a higher frequency, so you don't see them really physically. You can see them like, you know, since I'm a seer, I can see, you know, the third eye activated, I can see them in a different realm, different timeline, whatever you want to call it, different dimension. But, you know, I think it's, probably not to put you in fear, you know.
And that's all my questions. Passing the talking stick.
Wow. Okay. I have a question or two. What's the difference between the morality between the species that you interacted with and human morality? Because we always want to be moral, but sometimes the definition of moral is different. Like, we think we're okay, we're moral, but we eat chickens and we eat cows. But other species might say, oh, they're so primitive, they're eating other species.
Yeah, and we have incest taboos and other groups don't. All kinds of things like that.
We have what?
Incest taboos.
Oh, incest taboos. And some, they might have different sexuality. They might have more than one gender, or they might have, genitalia that's different. So what do you know about the morality of the different beings that you've interacted with?
Well, it seems like all the species on the planet, animals, insects, birds, eat each other. I mean, I'm always not shocked at it, but it's like, why is that? To answer your question about them that don't eat, they don't eat. They just breathe. They're like breatharians. They're at a higher frequency. They don't need anything physically. They don't need physical food. They don't need that kind of, they just live on their higher frequencies. They just don't even breathe. Actually, they don't need to eat like that. So in a third dimension, it seems like all the species, even the Venus flytrap, it's a flower or whatever, it's a plant and it eats insects. I mean, it's like, what?
It's a terraformer balance, so they don't have to keep feeding their projects.
Yeah, Errol the Great, in the book Interview with an Alien, said that they used to have to reproduce them every time they ran out, so they made it so they would breed, and they made it so they would consume each other, and that allowed them to introduce different species to more planets, because they didn't have to, it was too much work, so they made it so they eat each other. Basically, that's to kind of summarize it. But, I've just often wondered about that, because I'm in here in a human avatar. But when I'm not in this human form, is my morality different? Am I doing this because when in Rome, do like the Romans do? Am I doing it because I'm in this avatar? But when I'm out of it, when I go, oh, I had to eat the flesh of an animal, right? You know what I mean? It's yeah. What do you think about all that? Everybody, whole panel. Let's fix this one.
Yeah, I went organic for a while and I got extremely tired and weak and I really believe in the blood type thing. I'm blood type O, which is, that's O, and we need meat for our whole system. And when I started eating meat again, I got my energy back, and I poor, and I just thanked the animal, but I said, poor thing, I don't want to eat you, it's like I'm supposed to have red meat. And I'll have a hamburger maybe once or twice a month, and that's it. It's not like I eat it every week, because I do care about the animals, but that's what I think about it, I mean, it's like a survival thing, and we have to have it for our physical bodies.
Yeah, I have O blood as well. I did not fare well when I tried to be a vegetarian. What about you, Deborah? Are you a vegetarian?
No, I'm not a vegetarian, but I'm not a fan of meat, right? I eat it because I have to, not necessarily because I want to, so I'll have it maybe once a week, if that, but the majority of my diet is plant-based.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
All right, so, and then, what I know of the ETs is most of them are, well, this is complex. The ones that I interact with are beyond war, and they just see this as so primitive, this fighting and killing, and especially maybe not the human-animal level, but the humans killing humans. So on the same level, when you're killing your same species, they think that's like the lowest of the low. What do you know about their morality?
Absolutely. They're very barbaric, yes.
And they're very barbaric.
Yeah, and they can't understand. Another thing they can't understand is, like, we're born down here and we have to go to work. That's prison, they said. That's prison. I can't. They don't understand when we're born into this world that we are put, to this program and this work situation, and they said that's like being in prison, and they don't understand about killing each other. That's very barbaric. They definitely don't agree with war and destroying the planet. So that's why they stop a lot of the missiles, and not just nuclear ones, other missiles that they've stopped and blow up in the meantime when they're trying to, let's say, even doing testing or whatever. They've disactivated them,
Right. Yeah, I know that they've intervened with some of the weapons, especially those that are going to affect them in space and other dimensions. Have they ever showed you different social systems or governance systems? I've been going lately to other planets where they think that all of our political systems and our governance systems and our religious systems are very primitive, barbaric, and they, like you said, they don't have to work. Everybody's needs are met, but they do what they want to do. They don't consider that work. They contribute. They enjoy doing things like playing your music. That isn't considered work. You're doing something you love to do, and that's contributing to their society. But they downloaded me a whole other system. I said, well, how do we get to your society of peace? They definitely have these places where it's total peace. And I mean down to the thoughts. They don't even have a negative thought. It's kind of shocking. It's like, oh, wow, this is what that feels like. So we're continually being affected by people's judgments, criticisms, and vibes and negativity. Even though they don't express it verbally, we feel all that as human beings. And when you go to a planet where there is not a single negative thought, it's shocking. And I think you mentioned something about that earlier. Can you tell us about that again a little bit more?
Yes, I did. When they took me to Sirius A into the sun, when they got me out of the ship and brought me into the command room, or I guess the one main room, I could feel there was no fear, no anxiety, no stress. It was just like I made them laugh. I told them, I go, man, I can breathe here. And they laughed because, we're in a higher dimension. They don't really breathe like we do. And it was just so peaceful, like you said. It was so peaceful and loving. There was so much love. And they showed me, like they said, the other beings, the golden ones, it was just pure love. I mean, when I came back, when they brought me back, I was high. I mean, really like high, natural high for
right.
5 days. I was just like in bliss because of the energy there, and I didn't want to come down, and then I had to go back to work, to ground myself to be able to focus, right? But I'll never forget that feeling. It was beautiful, and they don't have those low frequencies there, the low vibrations. So like you said, judgment and fear and stress and anxiety and, all that. It's not there. It's just gone. It's not there.
Not there. Sasha, you have any questions or comments?
But my path is kind of interesting to embrace the opposites within me, that I'm at peace with the ones without, and it always then seems to me that everything's perfect and as it should be, including the challenges, which are our opportunities to transcend our dualism and become one with whatever's challenging us so that we can get a synergistic rise to a higher level of consciousness, but you never lose the lower levels. You still have a body, and you're not transcending it and getting rid of anything. You're just incorporating it in a larger whole, digging the fact that it's all a great big whole. That's how it looks to me.
That's beautiful. Excellent said. So, yeah, there was, like, for instance, not that I had a major issue, but I got rid of my anger. I mean, period. It's very rare I get angry. It's more like I'm very understanding and very compassionate. I understand what you're going through or understand why you're upset, but I don't get upset and I don't fall into their patterns of how they feel. It's just I just understand. And
Perfect. Yes.
So in an anger, I don't even like being angry because it lowers your vibration again, and I've just worked on that for for 20 years, and I don't have it anymore. I mean, I just don't have it.
The key to that, to anyone that's doing that, the angry person, what do you really need? And then once you get what they really need, I need you to listen to me or give me a raise or whatever it is, then you have a real conversation instead of anger. You have what's going on that's motivating it.
Yeah, but your need was putting another person having to do an action, but the need ultimately can be met by the self.
Yeah.
So what I see you're doing is you are learning from your ET contact, and I think I am too, and other people, is a different way of being.
Right.
So acceptance and tolerance of other people, more compassion and empathy. It's like you're graduating from kindergarten. Everybody else is in kindergarten. There's no acting out and flailing and angry and
drama.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, people flip out. I've noticed people flip out over the littlest things, and I'm sure that maybe it's a build-up or they don't have nobody to talk to, and so with my sound healing sessions really help with those kind of people that they release so much from one session, and they start crying, which is a honor to me, and because they're releasing old stuff, and a lot of times they don't even know why they're crying. They said, this is good. This is, you're releasing old paradigms, old things, and of course forgiveness and forgiving yourself and others helps. That's really one of the keys, actually.
We were going to try to play your music. Do you have any, well, we could try you playing it. It might come through. And the other thing is putting an MP3 in the chat.
Or you could tap the microphone and do a set. Oh, no way. I bet you could make a really cool drum out of your microphone.
Yeah, I'm going to try to, I'm going to play this track and see if it works. I'm sure it will work, but how clear it will come out. But I got it up on my,
Okay.
Yeah, I got it up on my computer here. So do you want to go for it?
Yeah, let's try it. We'll let you know if we hear it or not.
Okay. And the song is Human Embrace. This is the one I was talking about. I wrote a long time ago, but it's all about now too. It's timeless. So for now. So here we go.
Let us know when it's playing so we don't have dead air.
What?
Is it playing yet?
Yes. Oh, it's not working?
Nope, doesn't work that way. Okay.
Oh, well.
We tried. If you had an MP3, you might be able to put it in the Skype, and that might be able to play. I'm trying to remember how our old producer used to do that. I think if it was something into the chat, you could insert.
These are all WAV files, and I don't have any.
Okay. Well, everybody has to go listen to it on the website. I have the link up on AquarianRadio.com. You can just go click and go through. There's a lot of pictures and things there. Oh, wow.
Oh, well.
It's really good music. I listened to it a little bit. Highly recommend it. So, if someone were to come to you for a session, describe what that would be like.
Well, I do 3 different sessions. I do the sound healing, like I was saying, and that's actually through the chakras. So I really clear out, all the old stuff out of your chakras and activate them, because there's a lot of them are not activated for most people, and balance them. So that's an hour long. And that has to be in person, but in Sedona. So you gotta come to Sedona, which everyone loves. Then I do readings. I do the readings over the phone. I can do that, or Skype. And then I also do the 22 DNA activations. I can do that over Skype or in person. Those are private sessions, and those are to remember who you are why you're here, what your purpose is, and your knowledge brings back the knowledge that you brought in. It's actually activating the DNA. I embed 22 golden light codes into you, and it's in the Keys of Enoch. It's very ancient knowledge, these sessions, and only 12 people in the country do this work. And one of them, and I got initiated, and Lord, or Archangel, whatever you want to call him, Metatron, is part of this work, and he has come to me when I was studying the Keys of Enoch and told me my number. He said, your numbers are 202-2030, and I had no idea what he was talking about, but then I looked it up in the Keys of Enoch, and it's all about the 22 golden light codes. And it all did not come together, the pieces did not come together till I got my activation session from this woman that's been doing it for 50 years, and she's amazing, and I totally got like almost instantly awake about a lot of things, and it really helps expands your psychic abilities, your awareness of things, your knowings, even goes into, you can remember some of your past lives. It helps you remember who you are. And I told her, I go, I know I'm supposed to do this work. She goes, oh, it's many, 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 many years to learn this, how to do this work and how to really be initiated. And I said, I'm telling you, I'm putting the 2 and 2 together. I'm supposed to do this work. And she said, well, let me ask the council of the White Brotherhood Light, Council of Light. And so she came back to me the next day. She goes, oh my God, yes, this is your work. You're supposed to do this. And she says, I would never do this, but they told me. And so she trained me, and it's been a blessing. I just love doing this work. Helping people to remember who they are. And it's a lifetime session. I mean, you only have to do it one time, one session, one time in your life, and you actually do not do any more DNA, because then it will disrupt it. And I repair your damaged DNA while I'm activating you. So that helps. There's actually a lot more that goes along with it, with physical ailments, clear out that from your bloodline, your DNA. Like if a person has diabetes, or if they have heart conditions in the family bloodline, let's say, I clear that out.
Wow. So who are you? So you recovered who you are, right? So who are you as a soul, in other incarnations?
Well, I have many names and lots of remembrances and stories. I remember my Mayan past life. I was a high priestess, and 1,000 years ago. And for 25 years, they told me my name was Amara, and I was a high priestess, like I said, of this temple. And I was looking for 25 years. I went to the Yucatan, did all these things, and finally found it last year. I found it. It's in Belize. Woohoo! And
found it where?
In Belize.
Oh, in Belize. Okay, so what did you find in Belize?
So I found my temple that from when I was a high priestess 1,000 years ago. My name was Amara. And I went down there last year and said, oh, make sure this is my temple I've been hearing about. I had 2 past life readings. They told me all kinds of information. So I went down there and I hired this guide, this Mayan guide that was there. I didn't tell him that was my temple. I just said, I just want to know about this temple. And he told me, he's been there since he was 4 years old, so he knew what was going on. So I said, what do these 3 major glyphs say? Check this out. Because I'm a sound healer, musician. My name is Thunder, right? He said, well, the glyph on the left and the glyph on the right are very similar. He said the one on the left means sound and the one on the right means music. I said, okay. This is becoming double confirmation. And I said, what does the one in the middle say? It says, Thunder, Chalk, the rain god. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, then I told him the story, and then I said to him, my name was Amara. and his mouth dropped. He grabbed my hand. He said, let me walk you down to the side of the pyramid. And he showed me a glyph, and he said, that says Amara. And we don't even tell anybody that. That says, but it blew him away. Blew me away, too. I said, there's my confirmation.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a total female temple.
So
yeah.
Amara, was she a human? Was she E.T.? Was she a Anunnaki? What species was Amara? God or goddess?
That's the name of Akhenaten's.
Well, let her answer. Then you tell us. Okay.
Oh, I know that.
I want to hear your answer, but I want to hear what Devara says. What's it?
Well,
go ahead.
That's okay. Well, let's see. Amara, Ra is from the Ra group. Like I've had many names: Clamara, Devara, Amara. So that was named after the Ra group. But the Mayan shaman that guided me to the temple, he said they call it the Queen of the Sky. The person that had the temple, and I said, High Priestess from the stars, I told him. And he looked at me because there's no queens back then. There was no queens. There were high priestess or priests, kind of shamans or whatever. But I've been told by spirit guides or the Ra or that I'm definitely from the Ra group. It's a group. It's not just one being.
Right. And so you have Ra in your current name. What were you going to say, honey? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's just that in Egypt, Akhenaten built a capital along the Nile, and his capital was called Amara. That's all.
Oh, okay.
It's not. I think it's Amari or it's I don't think it's Amara. I think it's very, very similar to that, though. Yeah.
So Ra is in your cosmology. Who is Ra?
Ra is the sun god. It's the sun. It could be even Sirius A. Sirius A is a sun. It's a sun being of the knowledge of the sun, of the ancient knowledge.
So you could really probably break down Amara and Devara. If you could break it down, you would get the meaning of each of your incarnations.
Right. Amara means the cosmic one, and I have a past life name from Egypt called Nefer-Ra-Re, which Nefer means beautiful sunlight. And then Devara means the light of the sun.
So Ra, the sun, yeah. So, but do you think it might be the Sirius sun instead of Solaris, the Earth sun?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not totally positive, but they said I was a traveler, so, we're all like, as in one, we are all one, and we, go and we can live on, let's say, other planets for a while, and then come, whatever one, the best way I can say is like why they told me I'm in Sirius, because I'm with a tribe called Elvatron that we are a group too that help other planets.
So do you have incarnations on other planets in vibratory frequencies? Like, are you simultaneously more than just a human?
Yes, I think everybody does. I mean, I'm not sure about everybody, but I know a lot of people, millions of people here on the planet Earth have been to other, reincarnated on other star systems. Absolutely.
Right. So do you identify with any other star systems as home as well as the Earth? Or instead of the Earth?
Do you? Or...
I remember that I have many incarnations and experiences in vibratory frequency, so I identify at the highest level of consciousness right next to Source, and I've given myself a name, Joy, because that was the best way to describe my vibratory frequency. It was pure joy. But then when I came down in the vibratory frequencies, another emanation of myself is Kira, which is Earth is originally Reiki, and Ra is the name of the sun, original name. So I identify with this solar system in Kira. And then I came down into an incarnation as Nimma, which is the goddess, the Anunnaki goddess, who was the mother creator goddess. So I identify with the mother. And I'm trying to think of the other ones. And then I have past life memory. So it seems like I'm a certain vibratory frequency. So no matter what form I take, I have this kind of energy essence of myself. No matter where. So there is me, like who I am on the highest level, soul level. And so the me, kind of like the Christ consciousness or the Buddha consciousness. So I have the whoever I am consciousness that comes down no matter what vibratory frequency, and I have incarnations. And I've identified with being some kind of water-based race. I think it was more like a mer person, mer people.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have.
Yeah. So I have all but it's not linear time. These are going on at the same quote unquote time.
Interesting. Yeah. I heard that, we're living in many worlds or many lifetime timelines. I just know when I come down here, I remember a lot. I remember being a mermaid too. I actually remember when I realized that I saw a vision of where I was, and it's in the Bahamas. I finally saw it in a documentary. I go, that's it. I recognize it. That's it. Abydos, or not Abydos, I forget. And then a past life when I was in Egypt, in 1997, I didn't know anything about Egypt. I went there on a tour, been fascinated to go all my life, and I walked into Hatshepsut's temple and I recognized it, and I said, over here was the courtyard and they used to teach the children, over here is the living quarters, over here is where they used to play music, over here is I just recognized it. But when they said Queen Hatshepsut, I didn't recognize the name, but they told me her story, and I said, well, no, I'm not her. I think probably I'm her sister or something, and I just said it nonchalantly. And then it was 3 years after that or 4 years after that, I had a past life reading, and it was, your sister was the queen and you used to teach the children in the courtyard in Egypt. And I'm like, oh my God. And my father was Tutmosis the First, which you're the bloodline of Thoth. And I'm like, this totally blew me away. I'm like, what? And I'm like, okay, because now I know why Thoth comes to me. I don't talk about that too much, but he's down. He's the one who told me to write my chakra book.
That makes sense.
And awakening the chakras. And I argued with him. I said, because I'm a musician, I never thought I was going to write books, Uh-huh. And he said, he goes, I did the chakra poster with Kuan Yin on it and my CD, and then I finished a DVD with Color Light Sound with the chakras, and as soon as I finished it, I'm all alone in my recording studio and I announced it, I am done with the DVD. And Thoth comes in, he goes, no, write the book. And I'm like, what? I said, what book? He goes, the chakra book. I go, the chakra book? This is how I argued with him. I said, there's 52 million chakra books out there. He goes, not like yours. Plus it will complete your package. And I'm like, what? That doesn't sound spiritual, I said at that moment. And I said, okay, because I started writing a workshop, and I said, I'll start there, right? And he came in and downloaded me new information for the chakras. And like, for instance, the animal totems for the chakras. I had never seen that. And the planets in our solar system that align with our chakras. That was very cool information.
So which planet is which chakra?
You have to get the book.
Well, give us a hint. Which one's the Earth chakra?
The air?
Earth
chakra is the root chakra.
Okay, Earth is the root. Okay,
there we go.
So we have to guess and get the book. Okay.
I'd have to go get it. I don't remember it all myself. I wrote it a long time ago, and I know the solar plexus is the sun.
Right.
It's really common sense. The heart chakra is Venus. It was just very common sense. It's like, wow, why didn't I? Why don't?
Well, that's a lot of times I write things and I go back later and go, wow, that's really good. Who wrote that? Me. Oh, I don't remember what I said. But you get into the zone. You just get into the zone, and this stuff starts coming through. And we want to say it's not us, but I think it's a part of you. It's like another aspect of yourself that comes through, and you think it's way over your earth head, right? Your human form. I can't know all that stuff, but you do know it on another level. You're just accessing that other aspect of yourself. What do you say, Sasha?
Yeah, it's a fractal within you in a holographic universe where you are in every molecule, and every molecule is in you. And what stands out, what's salient, for example, for me, it's a little bit of Shiva or Enki, and Jesus is all part of the same archetype of coming from the heart chakra with a mission of peace and love and acceptance.
Yep, and I really feel the guides help you. Like, for instance, my star family said not to write anything down ever for my experiences. And they said they did visualize me a book in the future, and I said, okay, whatever. And they said, but it's not safe to write anything down. So I didn't. And so then the date, I'll never forget the date, right after 2012, it was January 11th, 2013, they came in and said, okay, it's time now. It's safe now to write the book. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to remember all this. I felt they were there, but once I started, it was just nonstop. 6-8 hours a day, almost every day, and then it was just all the information just rolled out. And I really feel that they were there to help me remember,
Now, it says here that you have an inspiring lecture about the thinning of the veils, the new world, and the transformation into light beings. Could you tell us about that? What do you mean by all that?
Well, that's a long lecture. But it's basically, we're raising our frequency. The Earth is raising her frequency. I could talk about how we already know how they've been lowering the frequency of the Earth. So once the frequency of the Earth, the vibration of the Earth raises, which she is raising her vibration. We are raising our vibration. This whole situation is a awakening. People are waking up left and right, which is beautiful. That is the transformation into the light, into the higher, once we wake up, then we can go into the next frequency and the next vibration up to the next level of awareness. And that's the thinning of the veils, to see and remember who we are, there's a lot of places that you live on certain planets that, your past lives is there's no blockages.
They don't go through the veil, but we agree to go through this level of unconsciousness, which accelerates our learning, but it's frustrating at times because you don't remember everything.
Well, it must be going two-way if there's a relationship so that our guides are getting something from our experiences.
Yeah, that too.
They're evolving as we evolve.
Yeah, they're learning too. Everyone's learning. Absolutely.
So what's this new world going to be like? Are we going to see some of the ascension people say we're going to split? There'll be the new world, the old world. Some will go back and they'll continue on this war shit for another 26,000 or whatever, hundreds of thousands of years, 365. I don't know what it is. The yugas. And then
29,250.
What did it say?
It's almost 30,000 years.
Almost 30,000 years. And then, so what do you think about that? Is that part of your concept, the new world, that some will go back into the cycle and some will be conscious and not have to come back in to reincarnate? Or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's going to be a split, the dark and the light. It's already happening. We just thinking it's going to be this extremely physical thing. But yes, there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of people are waking up. They're raising their vibration, putting their foot down. They've been putting us, no free energy and no clean energy and all that. But yeah, I believe that the reincarnation thing, it all depends on you. I've heard that we've been trapped here. A lot of people have been trapped here. Not all of us, but that keep coming back. But sometimes it's not a choice. I mean, it's like your choice, but it's like, it's best to go back. So keep learning till you wake up to your higher frequency, to your higher vibration. So it's kind of a school. It's definitely a school.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that. Errol Gray was describing our part of the solar system as a prison planet, and that we are in the cycle of rebirth and life and death, and we keep coming in and out. And she said that this is the Roswell Gray. She was interviewed, and she said that 1,000 of her souls got trapped. I guess it was Tibet or China or something. They were killed about 1,000 years ago. And so that's the main reason they're interested in accelerating humanity's...
Dropa.
The Dropas, yeah. They're interested in us accelerating, becoming conscious, because humans are very creative. We have imaginations. Mm-hmm. And they're not sure what is actually keeping this prison planet operational. It's millions, if not billions of years old. It was like this part of the galaxy or the universe was created as a penal colony, like Australia was back in the 16, 17, 1800s. So this is like a penal colony, and so they can't get her people back. So they were hoping that humans, once we're activated to higher technology, we can figure out the techno fix to this prison system that's holding souls in this cycle of reincarnation. Now, what are your thoughts about the secret space program? Have you talked to people that have been involved in this program, and what do you know about that, and what do you think about it?
Oh yeah, I know about it. I have a conference I do every year called Cosmic Awakening, and I have Captain Randy Kramer, speaking this coming in April. And I've had Corey Good at my conference, and if I tune in like psychically, they've been colonizing so many planets. They know so much more than they even tell us. Yeah. It's so ridiculous how they show pictures. They've got this $1 trillion telescope out in space, but then when they show you the pictures, they're all blurred out. What is that? Now, come on. And what's funny, they've been talking about Mars a lot lately, and I watched this one, they go, new pictures from Mars, and I'm watching it. They showed a base on Mars, and they didn't say anything. They were talking about every picture but that one. They were they're putting it in there to show you, so like it's normal. And that was just like 4 or 5 days ago. And
can you find that and send that to us? I'd love to see it.
It's on YouTube. New pictures from Mars.
Just hit Mars on YouTube.
Mars on, 4 or 5 days ago. I'd like to see that, yeah.
I don't know if I can find it again. I'm sure I'd have to search it, but that was the title of it. New pictures from Mars, on YouTube.
Great.
So,
I'll find it. Yeah.
Yeah, so, they know there's vehicles that make the rings of Saturn. They've talked about it. They put it in little clips here, a minute there, and you really got to pay attention. But, compared to what Captain Randy Kramer has said, he's just incredible. He lived on Mars for 17 years and fought the praying mantis. They said he was praying mantis and ant people. Ants. Yeah, and he was saying that, and I said, well, what was the purpose? Because he was in the army, and they wanted to take over territory, and us, or it was like, come on, that's their territory, I mean, how barbaric are we? So and I know, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, it's like taking your home away from you. Come on. It's terrible. You just like, there's no such thing as money there, so you can't buy the property. He's like, can we have this part here? All you do is ask,
Yeah, they're kind of America on steroids or something. Like, let's go out and take over the cosmos. Well, I'm hoping that it gets more Star Trekian rather than Star Warian, because for my people that I work with, all the beings I work with the light side of the Force, and like I said, they think this is so barbaric, and they're really wanting us to wake up en masse and choose love instead of all this other stuff. What do you want to say?
Yeah, a lot of the more recent stuff has been since the Anunnaki came. They had like two big threads going for them. Basically, dominator consciousness, hierarchy, always competing, and the rebellion against that by Nimma, Lilith, and Enki, and their attempt to make it more of a partnership world. And that's still the two trends that are fighting right now. Yeah. Synergy, partnership, and dominator and hierarchy. And, and so each must have something to give. And so what hierarchy is really for is administration for decent policy once it's generated. And they really can go together if in a synergistic instead of a destructive way. That's the way I think.
Right. Well, that's been the storyline, like the one in Egypt, and I'm sure in other, like India. It's like the same story keeps repeating itself till we get it,
Yeah.
So when you do your conference, send me a link. I'll put it on the site here so people can click through. So that's going to be in April of 2021. And where's it going to be? Sedona, or what part of the world?
Yeah, Sedona, Arizona. It's the 23rd, 24th, 25th. Where do I send a link? I'll just email it to you.
Yeah, just email it to me, and I'll put it on your webpage so we can start promoting it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Conferences again.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm getting a little bit, I get rock fever. I'm over here in Maui, and I love Maui, but every once in a while I like to go out and see the world. I hope we're all traveling by then and things are back to quote-unquote normal, whatever that's going to look like.
When you said about the ant people, and my Hopi and Zuni friends talk about it, it's the ant people that rescued them from the flood. And they said they took them to the Sedona area and until the flood was over, and they gathered the people, and then they flew them in their craft to the Four Corners. But that Sedona was a refuge for the survivors, and the ant people were that you say, and Kramer said he's fighting, but they're the very people that saved the native people of the Pueblos.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That it was military taking over, trying to take over Mars or get, fight. That they're just all about war. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have to straighten him out for us.
I'm working on it. And then I have a whole long story about I found ancient Egypt here in Sedona. But that's another long story. We can maybe get together again. I have pictures of the 9 major gods, sphinxes. I mean, it's amazing.
We'd love to hear that. It's so obvious to a lot of us that what you're saying is ringing a bell. Absolutely.
Yeah, I got guided there. Like I said, it's a long story, and I would love to send pictures. I'll send you a few pictures that it will blow your mind, because I'm putting a book together now. They want me to write another book.
Keep going.
Right?
So we're running out of time. We have 3 more minutes, but I had one more question.
I was wondering, do you have time to play my song?
Did you put it into the
Let's see.
I did. Yes.
Oh, let's go to work. Okay, let's go for it. Deborah, do you see it? In the chat?
Yeah, I sent it to the chat. I found it, MP3.
Okay, I don't see it in this one.
You didn't see it.
Deborah DeFranco, do you? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Let's try it. Let's see if it works.
Yay.
Hear it?
Okay, guys, I cut it early. The music's going to start in 1 minute.
Love it.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Wow.
Great end for the show. Okay, Devara, your website is one more time.
What?
Or are we off?
Never.
Are we off?
Hello, I'm here.
Okay. Sorry, we have to end the call. Thank you so much for coming on. We will do some more later. Much love and blessings and aloha to everybody. Thank you for coming on. Aloha.